Hi friends, it's July Favs time. It was an exciting month, I think, because one of the more transformative months thus far in this season. It is not my favorite season, by the way. Yes, we know, Alicia, you love your autumn, okay? Nevertheless, I have been enjoying the longer days, the light being out still at 8-ish. Well, maybe that's going to start to change as we approach September, darling. I underwent a huge declutter, got rid of a lot of stuff, and I went into more detail about this in my paragraph, or more so, it's okay to have FOMO video, which you can see up through the card link here or down below in the description box. So I have been in a different mindset as I approach August in trying to make more intentional shopping decisions, having a shopping list, having a wish list, and not to be as impulsive. I'll still add item to basket, but I'm not so inclined to buy it right away. I'll think on it. I'll realize maybe this is something I truly want, or maybe this is something that I could live without. And I did not get, as you know already, the Addiction Tokyo limited edition palette. I not have yet since the filming of this video, but I most certainly will update you on the community board if otherwise. Have not ordered the Bloom Quads from Mother. I'm still waiting for Izumiya's 3.0. I am waiting with bated breath. I have already made my decision based off how it's gonna look like. If it's anything like 2.0 or even 1.0, I'm getting it. So that is the number one makeup item right now on my wish list that I am waiting patiently, not so patiently for. But why don't we get into the favorites? I'm sorry. I was taking too long. This is a strange one, and I say that because I do not know the brand for this backpack. All I remember is that I purchased this in Denver, Colorado. It was in one of those shops where it hosted a bunch of different indie brands and whatnot. It says OG on the pocket, and I shuffled through the inside to see if I found a label, and I could not. If you recognize this backpack, family, sound off in the comments so I could put a link to it. The reason why I shared this is because I forgot I had this backpack. I encountered it during my declutter in taking things out of boxes, and I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot about this backpack. And right now, for how my life is formed and the things I hold high priority, the backpack comes in clutch because, as you see, it's like a backpack sack. It doesn't have a traditional zipper top like my, I was gonna say Hobonichi, excuse me, my donut backpack. It's more structured, and it does have the tote handles. But what I like about this one is that I'm a pack rat when it comes to traveling. I pack way too much. I overdo it. Although I'm trying to be a little more minimal with what's in my room, I'm not minimal when it comes to packing. And because of its huge size, you can get carried away. But on occasions where you kind of need to get carried away, like if you're flying and you need your carry-on to carry it on all, so you don't pay for a heavy, what's it called, suitcase, you could overspill the backpack because the closure is like a drawstring sack, and you can buckle the two clasps together to make sure nothing falls out. It has a side mesh pocket and a closed pocket on the other side. It has a small zippered pocket on the front, bungee cords on the front, a little pocket on the bottom. It has the tote handles and the shoulder strap. It is just all over the place, and I love it for that. I could just put things in different pockets and overfill this thing, and it doesn't feel as heavy because although it's not deep, and this is something I wanted to mention, not ideal to store or go in tow with a 16-inch laptop. It's not quite wide enough to accommodate a laptop, and because it doesn't have a separate laptop sleeve like my donut does, I do have to put it in a different laptop sleeve in the backpack, so it can get a little chunky when carrying the laptop, but I don't mind because, again, since the backpack is wider, I feel the weight is more evenly distributed across my entire back, and therefore it doesn't feel as heavy. I had to share this because if you have it too, or if you've been looking for an unconventionally designed backpack, this is the one to get. I do hope that this brand is still live, because my goodness, I've been trying to find it, typing in Denver indie brand backpacks, and I just get a whole bunch of other things that I'm not looking for. But if you recognize it and you know the brand, let us know, because we got to go shopping together. I'm not going to get another one because this one's doing pretty well. It held up well, maybe considering that I haven't been using it for years, but from what I remember, I've used it for a year or two when I purchased it again years ago in Denver, used the heck out of it and took a break from it, but now we're back. But in case when it does happen, if it starts to break down, I need a standby. Okay, now we're into the makeup. You know how I like to share the lifestyle faves. The Suqqu Miyabi collection. I am confident in saying this. My most favorite collection to date from Suqqu. Yes, it is the autumn collection. It is my favorite season, but how it was executed. I have on one of the quads, my apologies, let me grab the number, 141. I decided to apply the Orchid Rosy Cooler palette, and on the cheeks I got Addiction Tokyo. We're coming to Addiction Tokyo in a minute with the little Danessa Groundwork Bloomy Romance, but the standout winner, the blurring blush. My goodness, I was speaking to one of my clients, hi Shannon, who is also an avid Suqqu fan, and when speaking about the blurring blush, the newest formula to join Suqqu, there are only 2 shades left from Self. One of them being limited, which is the one I requested. And again, huge thank you to Suqqu Europe for the relationship. Thank you for sending me some PR. I have 05, and this color, the texture, the way it glides on the skin, it moves effortlessly, and also the color intensity, I think, perfect. It's not too much, not too little. The powder, I do think, is a little softer than their traditionally formulated pure color blush. A little tighter or a little more hard in the pan. Yes, it's not like the melting blush, which has been discontinued, but the blurring is doing something. As I had gushed over it in my original Suqqu video, you could take a look at that. It takes on, like I had said, a slurry type of feel that glides against the skin, that does not move your foundation, that works with a myriad of brushes, whether you want to go synthetic, natural, hybrid, it doesn't matter. Sure, it's going to appear lighter in application if you use a squirrel brush versus a goat hair brush. Goat hair naturally will pick up more and be a little more blend heavy. Regardless of what tool you use, it will be a success. The blurring blush is an application success, and this color specifically, 05, I couldn't ask for a better looking rose that is dead on neutral. Although I will say on the photos, it does look more terracotta leaning, which I was expecting, but when I applied it, it does appear a little more pink on me. I don't mind. And the reason why I say that is because if I mix it with a little bit of wild ginger from Addiction Tokyo, we meet somewhere in the middle. We're good to go. And we also have the Moisture Glaze lipstick in 11, the milk brown. I also picked up the orange color in the fluid, or the lip fluids, I think, yes, the lip fluid matte? No, just the lip fluid. Gorgeous color. And actually, I should try to see how it looks with what I have going on now, but I just love what's happening with 011 or just 11, because this color, it's like a mauvey brown, a mauvey pinky brown that basically envelops the entire look. It just pulls it all together beautifully. And again, this quad, one of 2, yes, the other one you can see in action in my original review video, but I love the gradient pan with the matte. My favorite collection thus far, 100%. I have not purchased any other pieces from it though. I'm trying to be good and just sit in my love for what I received as a gift. I also wanted to mention, because you're probably wondering, well, what about 101? That you had said does not serve you well as a highlighter. You are correct. It does not. But you know what I use this as? I have been using it ever since I received it and experimenting with it under the eyes. Under the eye brightening. Because I figured, okay, yes, there's some pearl in here. There's some pearl in there. It's not vicious, okay? Like it's going to appear pearly and just overly shiny. But because of the color, the light blue into this light apricot gradient we got going on, and because of the blurring properties, the smoothing of it all, why not under the eyes? Why not on other portions of my face that need a little bit of brightening, that need a little bit of smoothing and blurring? That's what I've been using it as. Sure, I could use it on the cheekbones, but I just have better performing highlighters from my skin tone and type to apply on the cheekbones for highlighting purposes. That's what I've been using 101 for. And I also saw the lighter apricot shade that I could also use for brightening, but again, we're trying to be practical here. This serves me just fine. The light blue does not make me look ghastly or just, it doesn't disrupt what's going on in the complexion. It works with my skin tone, and with other blushes I decide to apply on my cheeks thereafter. Sensational collection, my goodness. Again, 101 has been my go-to setting powder, and I'm not bad about it. Now for some brushes. Okay, we had Sonia's maquillage, the summer koi maquillage set. Where is it? Hello? With the decluttering, I was also reorganizing things. These are just 2 out of the 4, but what an exquisitely crafted brush with the round, or rather hourglass silhouette on the brush handle, the maquillage technique showcasing the koi fish and the lotus flower and the kakishibu dyed bristles, which, okay, if you haven't checked out my mid-year faves video, I feature Sonia's kakishibu set, the Kiyaki kakishibu set, as the best thus far in the last 6 months, and I am partial to the kakishibu dyed bristles because it gives, or aesthetically gorgeous, obviously, but the dye gives the bristles a little more of a workhorse quality, in that it's not that they feel dense, but they feel like they have a little more body while maintaining their blending functionality. And it's a match made in heaven, especially this brush here, the domed brush, which I love to get a little more intense to the crease, in addition to the crease on the outer corner, if I want my shadow to appear more hazy here on the lower lash line. And this little blender brush, stop it right now, with the smaller eyes, if you needed precision but you also wanted the shadow to appear a little more diffused and blown out at the edge of your crease line, and if you have smaller eyes, that brush right there. And if you want more details, I have the video, okay, with the footage using each brush with different products. Check it out. Bobo Do, kind enough to send me one of her newer releases, the Tuckahoe collab, Psycho Go and Silver Fox. This brush, I used it with liquid. I don't think I was supposed to, as I had said in that Bobo Do video. You can see that as well. This is sensational when it comes to powder foundation, or maybe just using a loose powder but wanting to buff it in after your cream or liquid foundation has set well enough so we don't get the bristles too overwhelmed with product. But you could buff in a lot of powder products, and yes, this could be a gnarly bronzer brush, but I rather use the Gray Squirrel and Psycho Goat mixed brush for bronzer because I do like that more blown out effect. But this guy, the softness, I mean, it feels like a velvet puff. It grazes the skin softly, but you still detect that density, that workhorse quality about it, but it doesn't feel rough. It just feels like a puff, like you put a velvet puff on a stick, but you have the beautiful maquillage owl on the crescent moon design. Everything about that brush is just sensational. And excuse me one moment, Bobo also sent me her Yoshiki collab 3D fingertip eye brush. I love brushes like these where you have one side that's tapered, you have the shorter bristles here that lengthen up, and one side that's the similar length. The pickup on this brush is savage, especially those harder to pick up textures that are tighter in the pan. You gotta wiggle back and forth. I'm thinking like some textures may be found in Natasha Denona's Yucca, maybe the drier textures that exist in and around Pat McGrath's palette, or just that palette you got in your collection that has beautiful shine and reflectivity, but the pickup is mayhem. You end up having to use your finger or a sponge tip applicator. Those work just fine and are cheaper than this 100%. However, if you want a softer tool on the lid and still want to pick up that type of a texture, this one right here, and then you have the length to actually blend that shadow through the crease once you get the majority on the lid. You can also place shadow here under the lash line. So this is multifunctional. Okay, this is multifunctional. I had it in my to-go bag here because, listen, this is an exceptional brush, and my goodness, I just find myself using it a lot just because of its versatility and the fact that I can use it with several textures and be successful in blending out that texture. And now we have arrived to Addiction Tokyo. I made a big purchase this month because Addiction Tokyo was running their friends and family sales event, and I wanted to take that opportunity to buy a lot of stuff and have that discount. My goodness, I have been using all of their products ever since I received them. You know, one of those things where you encounter a brand and their products, your expectations are not only met, but they are just surpassed. And I was pleasantly surprised and delighted with the entire experience. Everything from the blushes that I purchased in various textures and finishes, in the eyeshadows that I purchased, the lip products, my goodness. I even started to custom make my palette. This was the one that I've been taking around with me a lot. Unfortunately, this one got banged up. This is, I believe, let me see, hold on, I got the notes, hold on. This is their sparkle formula, and I think Mirage, I said Mirage, but that wasn't it. Champagne beige with a drenched looking sparkle. It has like a translucent base, so I can apply this on anything, and look how that just bumps up the shine like nobody's business. And a great shadow if you just wanted that sparkle without a heavy base, and maybe just plop on a liner, be it liquid or cream. And then these right here, Wild Ginger, has some nerve. It has some nerve in the color, in the texture. I believe this is one of their matte formulas. Let me scroll up. Yes, Wild Ginger, the terracotta. And it's smooth. It just goes on like, it feels like powdered silk, much like the Ciroc blushes, and that's what reminded me of them. And the highlighter I applied here on the cheekbones today in Golden Sun, soft, finely milled, incredible experience. And I will purchase more from Addiction Tokyo 100%, just not at the moment, because I love what I recently bought, and the colors have been serving me well. If you want to take a look at the eyeshadows in action again, I have a short up called what I call Bronzed Rose, where I use Addiction Tokyo shadows in that short. Again, you could check out the original video where I plop on everything. There are a lot of timestamps on that video, so if you want to hop around to a specific section, please go right ahead. And everything else I've been reusing, meaning I've been using my House Labs as of late, because out of all my foundations that I have, this is the color that matches me the best at the moment. I've actually reintroduced the Auric Glow Lust back to my collection, because I do like how this manipulates the foundation to be a little more soft glow in finish. It's going to give you a little more sheen after the blend. What I do like in the Auric that I don't have in the Dior Forever Star Filter is that this doesn't appear as pearly early as the Dior. This has more of like a softer finish to it, like a blurring quality, almost as if the Hourglass ambient light powders came in liquid form. That's how I liken it to the Auric. And the Dior, I think, is more of a dedicated, to me, highlighter product, even though it is marketed to be used in various ways, whether you want to pop it on high points of your face or mix it with your foundation or mix it with your moisturizer or tinted foundation, whatever that is going to give more of like that soft focus effect because of the pearl content. But I think the Auric, I like the Auric a lot. Maybe because this is closer to my actual skin color, so it might not appear as pearly, but I have been using them both. I've been plopping on the Dior on the cheekbones, mixing in the Auric with my foundation, be it the House Labs or the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. We still love her. I actually want to pop on a little bit of Dior Glow Maximizer, and yes, bronzy is still on my mind. But I'm not pulling the trigger yet because I feel that I should use what I have more. I have peachy and I have rosy. And the lip products, forget it. I mean, between what I purchased back in June and what I have from Suqq's Miyabi collection, the lips have been doing good. With the Lisa Eldridge Shape and Sculpt lip pencils, those shades 1N, 2N, and 2W have covered so many bases in my collection that I really don't need to be looking at any lip liners for a long time, because they weave themselves well with the shades that I already own. They give structure, but they also are a little more on the dry side, so it helps with the longevity as well. But those have been my standout favorites for July, and I cannot wait to see what August has to bring. I'll let you know if I ever do decide to pick up Pat McGrath's Bloom Quads. If Isamay gonna release her palette, I really hope she does before the summer is up, and we'll see what other beauty adventures are in store for us for the remainder of the season. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, maybe give it a like, share with your friends, maybe leave a comment down below. It helps with the algo. And until then, I will see you here next time.